Another day dawns on the charming Potawatomi tribe as they explore a new swamp.
Gee, you. Smells like onions.
Good name for a city. Chicago.
Chicago.
And so they named it Chicago, or Stinky Onion.
What is this?
Why, it's Chicago!
Chicago? Is it nice?
Chicago is a stupendous blasphemy against nature.
I adore Chicago. It is the pulse of America.
Chicago's like loving a woman with a broken nose.
Pardon me?
Oh, no offense, ma'am. But you know what I mean. Chicago's probably the most typically American place in America.
Chicago is the product of modern capitalism and, like many other commercial centers, is unfit for human habitation.
Oh, don't listen to her, dear.
Exactly. Don't listen. Smell. Come on, take it in. I give you Chicago. It's not Paris and buttermilk. It's not London and Harvard. Why, it's America. And every chitlin and spare rib, it's alive from snout to tail.
All I smell is garbage.
after the German playwright, poet, and philosopher. This is a vintage postcard of the theater as the Schiller Theater. The Schiller Theater was changed to the Dearborn Theater for a brief stint and was later named the Garrick Theater. A large portion of the facade featuring portraits of famous Germans was later saved and was incorporated into the entranceway of the Second City Theater on North Well Street. Though there is much speculation as to who the faces on the facade are. Here's a random bit of trivia for you. Louis Sullivan designed the building, but Frank Lloyd Wright was Sullivan's chief draftsman when the Schiller was built. But after Wright left Sullivan's firm and started his own practice, his first office was in the Schiller building. And 1 block away from the Garrick Theater, a huge fire was happening at the Iroquois Theater. Hearing about the fire at the Iroquois, the manager of the Garrick didn't want to disturb his audience, so he locked the doors at intermission. He didn't want his audience to panic about the fire down the street at the Iroquois Theater, so he got his lead actor, Wilton Lackalay, to come out at intermission and tell some more jokes, and the orchestra to play some more music so that the audience wouldn't have to know about the hundreds of people dying practically right next door. According to the article, it went on to say that after the show, the audience came out cheerful and happy after seeing a good show. But many of their friends and family were waiting outside for them because they had heard about the fire at the other theater and thought that maybe this theater was burning too. Even as it was being torn down, it was determined that the building was structurally sound and could have been converted for other purposes. Part of the preservationist team were Richard Nickel, as well as John Vinci, who spearheaded the project of moving the old Chicago Stock Exchange trading floor to the Art Institute. Here's another view of the Garrick shortly before its destruction from a photo taken by Richard Nickel, who was actually killed by trying to salvage architectural fragments from the Chicago Stock Exchange, another Sullivan work, in 1972. He was crushed when the trading room floor collapsed. Chapter 5. The End. Great architecture has only 2 natural enemies, water and stupid men. A Richard Nickel quote. So what exactly was it that led to the Garrick being torn down? Did the owners close it because someone offered them a ton of money for the property? Was that the deal? What was the deal? Well, they said that the office building was outdated and that the owners saw a parking garage as more profitable.
But also in a way, it's kind of neat. It's like that photograph is keeping that person alive, even if it's just for that moment. You know, we have marriage certificates, and death certificates, and birth certificates, and those are all great things to have. But you know, that doesn't say, you know, how all the kids looked on Easter and my dad's family before they went off to mass, or.
Было вдохновение назвать этот фильм. the train, while the brakeman lost his place. Satellites were spinning in outer space. They televised her feelings, while the light struck terror. I kept my distance because she fell in love with everyone, smoking grass and taking Christmas trees. She fell in love with me. I was polite to her. The soft sadness had her much more than a loneliness. Her father warmed the benches, vice president of southern branches. He reached out to her when her mother slept. He would never forget the light, the light striking terror. I kept my distance because she fell in love with everyone, smoking grass and taking Christmas trees. She fell in love with me. I was polite to her. A soft sadness had her much more than a loneliness. Strikes terror, the light strikes terror. I keep my distance because she falls in love with everyone, smoking grass and taking Christmas trees. She falls in love with me. I'm polite to her. A soft sadness had her much more than her ugliness. I keep my distance cause she falls in love with everyone, smoking grass and taking Christmas trees. She falls in love with me. Well, I'm polite to her. I reach my soft hand out to her. I've known her for a very, very long time.